I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Akakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And salutations to the brothers teaching the truth and sincerity. Shalom to the hopeful elect, and 1/3 of sincere listeners. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God. And Yahweh Shai being the name of his Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Okay, the kingdom of heaven, his gospel, salvation is for the Israelites and the Israelites only, who are you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and the ones scattered abroad that may look like the other nations, but your spirit resonates with this truth. You're more than most likely an Israelite through lineage, all right, being a descendant of one of the 12 patriarchs. Okay, the kingdom of heaven salvation is for you. All right, this video is going to be entitled Pull Yourself Up by the Bootstraps. E, all right, E being Esau, so-called white man. All right, and the other half is because you had 400 years. You had a 400-year head start. All right, and what you're gonna see, I'm gonna play this video. You're gonna hear Edomites complaining, and I believe the lady that's then talking after Eve, she goes into basically all the setbacks and traps that they put in front of our people to struggle, and pretty much they're amazed at how we're still here, how we're still able to conduct ourselves, do business, and be around, right? Especially here in Canada, these so-called white people. They brought in Benjamin, all right, the tribe of Benjamin. They brought us in, and we came here to work. Our forefathers, our grandparents. Salakia. Our people, they brought us here to work, right? To pretty much do the jobs that these Edomites didn't want to do, and undercut us, right? You pay us less to do the jobs, right? At the time, inflation wasn't really a thing. Obviously, it was a thing, but it wasn't like kicking people's ass. Like you can work a job and buy a home and provide for your family, for a family of 6. You have 6 children, you and your wife. I'm just speaking based off of my grandfather. He came up from Grenada, whatever, the islands, and he had 6 children. You see what I'm saying? And he was able to provide for them, buy a house, do all these things. But see, Esau, he saw Jake come up and do well for themselves, buy homes, do all right for themselves, and he didn't like that. And so what he wanted to do was bring in other heathen class, which is the Elamites, the so-called East Indians. He brought them in to outdo us and pretty much prevent us from doing well in this society. I'm speaking about in Canada. I'm sure this happened all over, right? But he pretty much brought these heathen class of people over that don't respect the culture, they don't assimilate, right? They don't try and learn the culture and be polite, so to speak. But that's what when Jake came here, they were under manners. They were required to be polite, respectful, with more, all of these things. Okay, which whatever, live peacefully among, possible live peaceably with all men, right? Even though Esau is ruling, he's the devil that's ruling over us, right? But we assimilate. Jake is you can hate us, but we make your society great. We bring life to you, to these heathen societies, to their kingdom. So they hate us because of who we are, what we do, what our ability, our talent, our raw natural essence. That's fine. It comes with the territory. We're the chosen. You see what I'm saying? And so they try and sabotage us, but then they realize, oh, you're not as bad as who we brought in. And right now, Canada's feeling the effects of these East Indians running amok of this place. Just anything they put their hand to, it turns to shit. It doesn't turn to gold, it turns to shit. Okay? They're scammers, con artists, criminals. They brought a criminal class of people over, and they tried to make it seem like we were the worst criminals. And now you're seeing all over the news is these people bringing in the drug, all of these degenerate things. It's this class of people, man. This race of people, the Elamites. Okay? But you Edomites, you so-called white people, it backfired. Your plan backfired because all you wanted to do was sabotage the so-called blacks in Canada. So you brought in these people thinking that they would, okay, yeah, whatever. We got them to do better. So we got them living better than you, but now you're feeling the effects of it. Now you can't even enjoy your coffee at Tim Hortons because it's shit. It's made of garbage. It's garbage. Right? And it's all good because this kingdom is going down anyways. You don't know how to rule a kingdom, right? You Edomites, you don't know how to operate a kingdom. You think you do. You think you're the smartest in the room, high IQ, right? Think you know everything. You think you're too good to fail and all this stuff. And if you're an Edomite, if you're a so-called white man and you're losing in the society, that's on you, man. Okay. Go learn how to sacrifice goats, my nigga, and get part of your inheritance in this world. Okay. So if you're complaining as a so-called white person, you're a 2-time loser. Okay. Whatever demonic, satanic urge that you have as a so-called white man, as Esau Edom, right? Go and do it. Because you'll get praised and rewarded, and you'll probably get monetary gain for it, and you'll probably get away with it too. So all the demonic urges that you have, all right, if you PDFism, serial killerism, all right, whatever ism and schism that you're into, go and do it. Okay, so you can get on, or don't do it and shut the fuck up and stop complaining, stop being a little bitch, because that's what you are, Esau. You're just a bitch. All right, so I'm gonna play this video. I'm gonna interject and bring out some scriptures as well. And you know how the things goes. You know how it goes.
This is what a mega mind is.
Brand spanking new Lexus SUV. How is that possible? Integrate into the same neighborhood that I worked my entire life to get into.
All right, that right off the rip. You see what I'm saying? His hat saying blue collar or whatever. Yeah, he's already hating. That's Esau though. They see Jake in a nice car. Okay, they're mad. Jake works hard. They're just like, oh, hi, yeah. Jake goes to school. Jake is a smart race of people. Jake is smart, man. We're not dummies that the way they think we are. We come from a history of intelligence, man. Contrary to popular belief, we come from a history of intelligence. We're not these people, these low class of people that they try and make us to be. Okay. I have a few scriptures loaded up, but I think it's Isaiah 3. I just want to back up my point. It says God will remove the leaders. Isaiah 3, okay? So for behold, the Lord of hosts doth take away from Jerusalem. All right, he took this away from us. That means we had it. That means we came from this. Okay? So for behold, the Lord Yahweh of hosts doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, okay, the whole stay of bread, and the whole stay of water. Okay, our resources, okay, food, our farmlands. Okay, we had these things, man. Land, all right, grain, crops, the mighty man and the man of war, the judge. A judge is somebody that's very intelligent. Okay, in order to be a judge, you have to be very wise, right? That you got to go to law. In this world, you got to go to law school, do like probably 8 to 10 years of schooling to become a judge in this world, right? So in order to be a judge in the spirit, okay, we're judges, right? Like the elect, the hopeful elect, we're judges. We're judges right now, brothers that are in this truth, in this walk. We're judges. We're judging. We judge everything. All right, we judge according to the law. We judge according to what the scriptures say, how we should operate, right? That takes what? Wisdom. That takes intelligence. We come from that, okay? We're not stupid people, man. All right? And it says, and the prophet and the prudent. The prophet and the prudent, to be a prophet and to be prudent, you need to have wisdom and spiritual intuition, man. Divine spiritual intuition from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That even kind of supersedes just intelligence in a sense. Something that you can't explain, something that requires faith, something that you need faith to have, man. in order to operate in it, in order to operate in that profession, man. To be a seer, a visionary, in order to see the prophecies, you got to have faith. Okay? You might not even get vision, but you still see it. That's still a visionary, man. That requires faith, man. Okay? But that's only given to who? That's only given to the elect. Okay? The upright. That's only given to the upright. Who is the upright? That's Israel. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We're the upright people. Okay? These can never be given. These titles should never be given to any heathen class of people. Any heathen, especially Esau Edom. Okay? He's a piece of shit. All right? And the ancient, what's the importance of the ancient? Right? The ancient have history. The history they pass on, the knowledge that they can pass on to the youngins, in order to keep the flow of in order to keep the order of how things should be. That's what the ancient is there for, man, to be reverenced and revered. But in this world, okay, especially amongst the so-called black community, the ancient are looked down upon. They look down as an old fool, and Esau has a part to play with that. Okay, he has basically made the ancient man of our people like a fool. He programmed that. But when it comes to Esau, right, he can be 70 years old running a country, right? Like Donald Trump, 70 plus years old. There's always some old Edomite running America, man, for the most part. Okay, gray hair, whatever, in his old ass age, right? But and they get reverence and they get respect. But when it comes to Jake, okay, here it is. The guy turns 35. He's still in the league. Oh, he's old. Oh, that nigga's old. That nigga's washed up in the NBA, right? Oh, that nigga's washed up. He's getting old, right? Because they want you to think that your life it can only be lived in such a short span, right? Well, here is Esau. He literally does sail into the sunset until he dies, until he's 80, 90. Whatever. Esau's getting cancer now. He's dying a little earlier, but he still lives a good life overall compared to Jake, right? And he passes down his knowledge, his wealth, his thing down to his family. You see what I'm saying? He's able to do all these things, But for us now, we're not. We can't, because we don't have the knowledge, the wisdom. Now they took that away from us. The Lord took it away from us, and then Esau had a hand in it, right? He further afflicted us, man. He furthered our oppression. Okay. It says the captain of 50 and the honorable men. We are the honorable men. All right. That to be honorable, that is, I want to be known as an honorable man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want brothers to see me, and like, I don't force that. I don't push that vibration. Like, oh, reverence me as an honorable man. But I do want to be reverenced as an honorable man. I want to be known. I want to be reputed as an honorable man, just righteously, right? I hope the Lord even reverences me as an honorable man, even though our righteousness is filthy rags. You see what I'm saying? But like, these are stuff that we should strive to be honorable men. Okay, and the counselor is somebody that that gives guidance, man. Okay, and the cunning artificer. Okay, and the eloquent orator. I believe the artificer is someone. Let's look it up. What is an artificer? Craftsperson, right? So carpentry, you know what I mean? Inventor, mechanic, right? Who creates ingenious devices. That's beautiful, man. That's Jake. It says often blending magic with technology, which we don't use magic, all right? We use the spirit of the Lord. Okay? That's what we use. We use the spirit of the Lord to blend our that's what we're going to have. That's what the chariots are made out of. The spirit and technology. Okay? It says in fantasy settings, but we're not dealing with that bullshit. We're dealing with reality. We're serving as expert technicians in military contexts, whatever, But we can even get the etum online for that, real quick. Technology. Says one who makes by art or skill, agent agent noun from artifice, especially an inventor of devious artifice. But we're not here with deviousness. Okay, we're here with righteousness. Okay, it says an artifice, workmanship, the making of something by craft or skill. All right, we're not using no witchcraft. We're using the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? From French, artifice, skill, cunning. That's Jake, right? Latin. These are all words that describe us. Okay, a profession, trade, employment, craft, a making by art, a work of art. Craftsman, arts, master of an art, music, acting, sculpting, from stem of ours, right? Art, we're creators, man. At the end of the day, right? You get the idea. Okay, so they're all surprised that we were able to do all these things, man. And the eloquent orator, we actually speak well. We're people that speak well. Okay, we come from greatness. Okay. All right, you know, it's just being around Esau, you know, you got it to where we may not speak proper as well as we should. Okay, basically intelligence is looked down upon now. So Jake might speak with a little slang, and even if you speak slang, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's called code switching. You can go back and forth. All right, amongst your people, you know how to speak, whatever. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal. But in certain spaces, you got to speak properly if you're working, whatever. You know what I mean? You got to speak proper English in order to operate and do what you can. But even if you don't speak quote-unquote proper English, doesn't mean you're an idiot. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of Jake that don't quote-unquote speak proper English, but are very smart. But they're smart, but they're doing wickedness. But they could apply that same smart and expertise into doing, if you put energy into something positive, so to speak. You know what I mean? But that's another story. All right. But that was the point I wanted to get. I'm gonna play this video. I'm gonna be interjecting and you know cutting this guy up because he's the devil, man, and a hater too. And that's all you so-called white people are. You Edomites. You're haters. You're haters of Jake. You hate what we do. You hate everything about us, and we hate you too. We here at Great Millstone, we hate you too. Okay, so you don't have to worry about us liking you. All right, pieces of shit.
Understand it.
There's this guy right here in his brand new Lexus.
There he is,
there
right
he
there.
is, right there. That guy right
It's
there.
what Make America Great Again has always meant to certain people.
Yep, and continue to flex on these Edomites, right? I don't care, you know, brothers, whatever. I don't, you know, brother may have more than some, whatever. And I'm not saying flex on them like, oh yeah, look what I got, Esau. But you just if you're just living your life, live your life, man. If you can get yourself a car that you like, or a decent car, these guys are mad about a fucking Lexus. It's not even a fucking Porsche or a Ferrari or something. They're mad that you're driving a Lexus. Are you kidding me? You know? But all these cars now are it doesn't even matter. You can just drive a new car and they'll be mad. You show up to work in a new car, they'll be mad. Right? That's what the Edomites are. They just hate. Okay? All these cars are getting expensive. All these cars, you know, you get a Honda now. You get a brand new Honda. You know, you get a Pilot or something. You're paying almost 60 grand, 70 grand for that shit. Okay? All of these, you know, Honda Pilot, Passport, whatever the car. These brand new cars are expensive. They're not cheap. They ain't no slouch. Paying 40 grand for a Toyota RAV4. Right? That's money, man. You see what I'm saying? So, but you pull up in anything, they'll be mad. You pull up in a nice car that suits you, they're mad. You pull up in a regular car, brand new, they're mad. It doesn't matter. You pull up in a hoopty, they're gonna talk shit. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. You can't, and you're not here to please people, right? You're here to do what you can and do what you got to do in this world, and serve the Most High, and do what you got to do until the Most High come back. That's it. That's what you're here for, man. So fuck these people, man. Drive your Lexus. If you got a Lexus, drive that shit, man. You see what I'm saying? Who gives a fuck? Fuck how these Edomites feel, man. Jake are very resourceful people, man. They're gonna find a way, man. And you need Jake in order to make America great again. In order for America to be great, you need Jake. That's a video. That's a topic right there.
It's never been about patriotism. It's always been about hierarchy, about making sure black people stay in a place that makes them comfortable. Because let's be honest, Imagine living in a country where 400 years you receive every privilege available. Free labor for almost 2 centuries, millions of acres of free land through the Homestead Act, government assistance when black folks were excluded, white veterans received GI Bills that sent them to college when black veterans who served the country faithfully did not, white home ownership through FHA loans that black people didn't get while black families were redlined into poverty. There was affirmative action for white folks long before the phrase was ever even created. Let me name a few more. Tax benefits, union protections, government contracts, Social Security programs that originally excluded black labor, corporate subsidies, banking systems built on predatory denial of black access, policing designed to guard white prosperity, and the unspoken privilege of always being.
Yeah, all these things, man. Okay, Salaki, I kind of got distracted to see if she said anything. All these things happened though, okay, and they're acting like it didn't. Okay.
Them comfortable. Because let's be honest, imagine living in a country where 400 years you receive every privilege available. Free labor for almost 2 centuries, millions of acres of free.
Yeah, they like to turn a blind eye to that. Okay, right?
And through the Homestead Act, government assistance when black folks were excluded, white veterans received GI Bills that sent them to college when black veterans who served the country faithfully did not, white home ownership through FHA loans that black people didn't get while black.
Yeah, that's called redlining, right? They were doing a lot of redlining, keeping black people out of certain neighborhoods and stuff like that. They didn't want them there, shit like that. Okay, let's not forget about all of these things, man, because this is what the devil did. All right, but he has to play blind to the fact and like he doesn't do these things.
Families were redlined into poverty. There was affirmative action for white folks long before the phrase was ever even created. Let me name a few more. Tax benefits, union protections, government contracts, Social Security programs that originally excluded black labor, corporate subsidies, banking systems built on predatory denial of black access.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
Policing designed to guard white prosperity and the unspoken privilege of
over policing our neighborhoods as if we were the criminals and turning a blind eye to their own when they're the definition of criminal. Crimson, the crimson man, the red man, caught red-handed, so-called white man. That's him.
Being seen and deserving and all that for generations. And yet here we are. After everything designed to hold us back, we still here. It makes him a failure. We're still educating ourselves, still building businesses. It makes him a failure. Still growing wealth, still buying homes, still pulling up in our Lexuses. That makes him a failure. We still thrive in the ways this country has never planned for us to thrive, and it makes them feel like failures.
Like even when it comes to Eve, right? Eve can make money knowing how to braid hair. Amongst her, she can make she can provide a service amongst her own community, and I'm saying this in a good way. You see what I'm saying? I'm not even saying it in a bad way. I'm saying it in a good way, right? She can. I said it to say because this girl had the hair or whatever braided up. I said it to say that Eve wants their hair done. She can know how to braid hair, braid her fellow sister's hair, her the so-called black woman's hair, and provide that service and make money amongst her own community, and not just the woman, but the men. The men want their hair braided. She can offer that service amongst her own people, and that's what you call being resourceful. Okay, using a skill and offering it to your own people, and not really having to deal with the outside world. That's stuff that Jake did. That's stuff that Jake would do in order to find a way to make money amongst not just amongst their people, amongst their community. It's not like it wasn't predatory. It was a trade-off. You get what I'm trying to say? It's not predatory as in you're going to your people and trying to take from them. No. You want your hair done? I provide a service. Here you go. Boom. You see what I'm saying? That's just one of many ways that we were able to find ways around Esau. And I'm not saying we're not in certain, obviously we still are in certain corporate settings and all of that. Don't get me wrong. We're in the workforce. We're all up in these different sectors of society. And, because we're needed. We're actually needed. You see what I'm saying? We're needed in these certain sectors of society compared to what, contrary to popular belief, right? They try and make it seem like we're not needed, but we are needed, right?
Plan for us to thrive, and it makes them feel like failures. because that's what they are. That's why it bothers them, because to them, our success is what it is. It makes them failures. They feel better when they can look down on us. They feel safer when we have to struggle. They feel whole when we are broken. So when they say make America great,
They are failures. I have to add that in. She's right. She's right. You Edomites are failures. All right. You can't even run a country. You can't even run the world. Even though the earth is given to your hand, you're being exposed. As the girl said, you're being exposed as the failures that you are.
again, what they are really saying is, let's go back and reset the hierarchy. Let's put them back in their place, which is beneath us. Let's strip away any progress that they've made. Let's take away all their rights, all their opportunities, all the wins that make them feel equal. Because for us to feel equal, it makes them feel like failures. Because they've had every advancement known to man, and yet here we are. And
see, in the kingdom, man, we ain't gonna be, like dimming our light for you Edomites to make you feel comfortable in certain spaces and stuff like that. We're gonna shine, man. We're not gonna debase our voice, in certain work. We're not doing that. We're not gonna be we're not in the kingdom. We don't have, if you're a fucking police officer, Edomite cop, and you pull over at Jake, and Jake has to, how you doing, officer? We're not gonna be showing you no manners and respect, man. Calling you sir and all that bullshit. You see, in this world, we just do what we gotta do, We live peaceably, we supplant. We'll do that. But in the kingdom, man, we ain't gonna be no pussyfooting around you devils, man. Okay? You crackers, man. We don't even think, other than the fact that you're the devil, we don't really think of you on a day-to-day. You talk to Jake in the world, they don't consider you Edomites, man. You're not even a topic of discussion, for real. You're only a topic of discussion for us because we're the ones that are to the elect, the hopeful elect, because we're the ones that are woke, and we have to call out your bullshit. But regular day-to-day Jake is not thinking of you. However, you're thinking, you regular day-to-day Edomites, you're thinking of us, rent-free. Okay, you're thinking of the so-called black man dealing with your woman. You see, overall, Jake don't really care that Eve is fucking with you devils. You see what I'm saying? We don't. Overall, Jake doesn't give a fuck. We just talk on these. We make these talking points because we're just privy to what's going on. We're seeing what's going on. You're bedwenching, right? But a lot of Jake don't even consider the black woman bedwenching for Esau. You see what I'm saying? They don't even care. They just go about their day, right? We can give a fuck as a whole, right? We don't really give a fuck. We're just here living our life. But you Edomites, you worried about, you're worried about our dick size and all this shit and all type of weird shit. You're just weirded out and freaked out, man. You every day in your mind, you wish you could say nigger, nigger. You wish you could say it, or if you do say it, whatever, right? But we're on your mind rent free. Yup. And you know what I mean? Like, our spirit convicts you. Even a regular Jake. You see a regular Jake, your spirit gets all riled up. That means you're convicted in the spirit.
that's why our excellence is so powerful.
You're guilty of something. You know it.
Because every time we disrupt the narrative they depended on for 400 years, every time we win and we break the system that was never designed for us to succeed, every time we shine, we expose the weakness of a structure built on stolen labor, stolen land, and stolen wealth. It's their failure. This is why our success is revolutionary. It's not just about your car, your house, or your lifestyle. It's a reminder that despite every barrier placed in our way, we still here, thriving, winning, and redefining greatness in our terms. And they're still what they are. Failures. Now drop a black fist in the comments.
And we ain't doing all that, but you get what I'm trying to say, though. You get the point. All right? You get the point, man. Jake will still do all right for himself. But Jake is the poor. Don't get it twisted, right? We're still the poor. We're still the lowest as a nation, in America especially. All over the world, but we're the lowest on the economic table. All right? Our buying power is low. However, we still find a way, right? But it's just Esau has us all divided, so we can't work together, and the curses, and then it's all the will of the Heavenly Father anyways, because he doesn't want us getting comfortable here. He needs us to get up out of here mentally first, repenting and turning to him, and then we can receive that salvation, because money's not going to save us, okay? We're still under the curses. You can get money, but you'll still be under the curses, okay? The Lord will still find a way to fuck you up. Okay, money is not our end all be all. It helps, but it's pretty low, honestly. Money is pretty low because money corrupt. Power corrupt. Money, is the defense, right? That's the way you got to look at it. All right, can I pay my bills? Cool, I got money. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's what it's here for. Or, and I'm not even gonna call it money because it's the I should call it the tool or the because it's not real money. The numbers on your bank account is not real, right? But it's just the system that they call money, so to speak. Whatever. You get the point. Let's bring out some scriptures and we'll close up on that, man. But to hell with these devils, Psalms 10 and 2. The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined, right? All the devices that she basically labeled, that she said, right? All the sabotaging and setbacks that they tried to put on us. You see what I'm saying? For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord Yahweh abhorreth. The wicked through his pride of his countenance will not seek after Yahweh. Yahweh is not in all his thoughts. Okay? His ways are grievous, thy judgments are far above out of sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He has said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. But guess what? You're in adversity. Your people are in adversity, so to speak. Right? You're the two-time losers that you associate yourself with, Esau. You're in adversity, man. You're in straits. You're in hard time. Okay, you're fucked up, man, and you're down bad. You're down bad, man. You're down bad, dude. Okay. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. All right, that's how you operate. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. And once you know who the devil is, the so-called white man, you're not really as mad as you're not struggling to know why is my life like this. That's just how the devil operates. So when he comes up, if he comes up to camp and he wants to slide his way in there, right? We already know you, buddy. We know you're the devil, so we know how to deal with the devil. Okay, we don't pick up the snake with our bare hand. We will grab the tongs or whatever and put it in the bag. That's how we deal with the devil, man. We grab the tongs that give a little distance, and then pick up the snake and then put it in the bag, and that because we know how to deal with you now. You see what I'm saying? We ain't going in no pit of vipers, man. Okay, that like Jake in the world, they do that day in and day out. They don't know what the fuck's going. They don't know, you know what I'm saying? They don't know their left from their right in this world spiritually, and sometimes carnally too. Shit. All right. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages, in the secret places, right? Over policing us. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor, right? Always watching us, right? He lieth in wait secretly as a lion. Who's the poor? Jake, right? Jacob, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. He's always trying to trap us, entrap us, and do all type of bullshit. Okay, to get us all hemmed up and caught up in his system and his snares and his nets, in his world, his bureaucracies and policies and bullshit, and his laws and crap. You see what I'm saying? So we can't trust this devil, man. All right. So yeah, I could read the whole chapter, but I got other precepts to bring out. So Psalms 37 and 12, the wicked plotteth against the just and gnasheth upon his teeth. All right, that's what he does. Okay, he's always plotting against us, talking shit, and trying to see how we can go down, man. All right. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and 1. For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy. Right? Who's ungodly? So-called white man, Esau, Edom, and his race, his lineage, his people. Right? Neither, when we say so-called, because you're gonna have black Edomites, you have Chinese Edomites, so to speak. Right? You're still the Edom. If your lineage goes back to Esau, Edom, you are Edomite, right? But obviously there is a prototype, like there's a phenotype. So there's a so-called white man, right? That's why we say what we say, right? That's why we say so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because there is a phenotype to the tribes, right? However, we're scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, looking at the other nations as well, through our lineage, right? On the father's side, all right? It's not a hard concept to grasp, but you people You don't want to grasp it, so it's cool. Whatever. You people are purposely ignorant. You want to be, stuck on stupid, so to speak, right? And you love the white man's education system. That's basically what it comes down to, which is fine. Do you, buddy? We don't give a fuck, right? Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave, right? Esau doesn't believe in reincarnation for real. That's why he pushes, oh, you only have one life, right? That's so he pushes that lifestyle. YOLO. Okay, that's Esau. All right, if I don't, oh, my life is a failure. If I didn't do it now, then I'm a piece of shit. I'm a failure, right? He pushes that pressure on people of this world, man. Okay, but when you have knowledge and faith, and understanding of reincarnation, and it takes away the fear of death, as well as, just knowing who you are, man. Okay, and it gives you more confidence in just living, existing in the world, just existing, man, because you have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Simple and plain, man. That He will provide, He'll be with you in death, even in death, man. Okay, and the Lord gave us countless examples of that as well in the scriptures. Okay, ultimate one being Yahushai, right? The ultimate sacrifice, right? And He was resurrected. All right, so yeah, Esau doesn't really like that ideology, that mindset, reincarnation and resurrection and stuff like that. He doesn't push that as out. That's a serious miracle to him. Like, that's a wow, there is a God, Which and we're the spiritual superior people on the planet, the Israelites, right? Obviously, the Lord is dealing with us. Okay, which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air. And our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance. And our life shall pass away as the trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with the heat thereof. This is all good. I just want to get to the point, though, because, if I wanted to do a video on this, I could, but, just wanted to get to the point. Yeah, let's jump down to verse 12. Or 10. We'll jump to verse 10. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, right? Nor reverence the ancient gray hair out of the age. I was saying that earlier, right? Like, Esau has looked down upon our people and scrutinized and planned to destroy all of us, especially the age of our people. So if you destroy the head, the people that have the history, the knowledge, they can't pass it down to the youngers. And so the youngers grow up bugged out, don't know who they are. They're just black, literally, just black in the mind. I'm black. Go about their life. Oh, I'm black, so I have a few stereotypes I can fit in. I gotta live up to one of these stereotypes that the Matrix has programmed me to do. I gotta be an entertainer, comedian, drug dealer, robber, murderer, whatever, killer, whatever, gangster, bullshit. You know what I mean? Anyways, you get the idea. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble found to be nothing worth, right? That's why Esau's all big on law enforcement and bullshit. That's his strength, right? Law enforcement. I'm calling the cops, or he wants to be a cop, and really he just wants to lock up niggas. And without niggas, who the fuck would you be locking? Let's just say all the niggas left. Who would you be locking up, nigga? You know what I'm saying? Your business is done. Your jails will go to shit. Your stock prices, your private prison stock prices will go down. Everything will go down. No money. You see what I'm saying? But like I said, they overly police Jake. And always trying to get Jake on something, and gotta get Jake hemmed up for something. You see what I'm saying? I was watching a video earlier today, and it was bullshit. But basically, it was like some northern tribe Jake. He was dealing with some Eve, and she pulled a knife out on him. But he's a simped out guy, so whatever. Anyways, so basically a domestic dispute call was made. I think the simped out Jake had called it in, and basically Esau, he's trying to figure out what's going on, trying to hear everything. There's a sister. He knocks on the apartment of the sister, and the sister explains the story about how the girl pulled the knife on him, on the boyfriend or whatever. This is just long story short. And he's just like, okay, yeah. And he's just hearing all the stories. And long story short, Esau, you know, Esau, the system of Esau, he has to charge somebody no matter what. So from time he heard that somebody pulled a knife on somebody, he's saying that's assault, right? So he's like, okay, you're getting arrested for like 3rd-degree assault or some bullshit charge, whatever. Esau doesn't play like, if he hears anybody put hands on anybody, attempt to kill anybody with a weapon, whatever, he has to charge you. He doesn't give a fuck about the actual internal issue, the spiritual issue of the matter. He just wants to fucking charge. He has to charge. He doesn't want to wait. You know, don't waste my time. Can I charge somebody? That's all he wants to know. You see what I'm saying? Can we put this person in the system and get money? That's how he operates. You see what I'm saying? Nobody died, nothing happened. It's just a domestic dispute, whatever. And it just so happened that it came out because he was just doing a simple investigation, and the sister had made a statement saying that the girl pulled the knife out. So from the time that happened, on record, he has to put the charges up. He doesn't care about the actual domestic dispute. You know, why is it happening? How can we fix it? No, he doesn't give a fuck. He just up business. That's it. That's how he works. And who is that work? Who do you usually use that for? Jake, the Israelites. Okay. It says, all right, let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. All right? That's basically what it is. We're opposite of you devils. We're the opposite. So-called white man, so-called black man will never get along, right? The Israelites and the Edomites will never get along, man. You're our enemies, and it is what it is. Okay? He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objecteth to our infamy, the transgressions of our education. Okay? That's the point. But there's more on that, you know. If you want to look into it, go ahead, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I have other scriptures I want to get into. Psalm 73 and 8, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. Okay, they speak loftily. All right, they don't regard our oppression. They don't regard the oppression they put upon us. Right? And this scripture is going to tell you. Okay, they're corrupt and speak wickedly. They're wicked people, man. Okay? But we know who you are now. So, you know, we have a little bit of a peace of mind now. Because we know who you are. You're found out, and you're mad. You're mad that we found you out through the scriptures. The same book that you tried to use to oppress us, we found out that this is our book, and it was meant for us. Okay? And this scripture coded, has you... The scripture has your number. The scriptures, the Bible has your number, man. Okay? We know who you are now, devil. Zechariah 11 and 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Okay? And that's exactly who you are. You slay us, and you hold yourself not accountable for it. All right? Not just slavery. It wasn't called slavery, man. All right? What Esau did to us was not slavery, man. That shit was torture. That shit was hell. That shit was not slavery, according to the Bible, man. All right? It was worse than that, man. So that's why the scriptures say you're going to get double. Okay? We're going to have breeding farms of Edomites. Or only a select few Edomite breeders. Because what do you peon Edomites need to be having kids for? Having sex for? Okay? You're not. Okay? We're just going to have selective breeders of your race. That's it. The rest of you is just going to be fucking working in the sewage. You guys are going to be in charge of sewage. Okay, the shitty jobs. All right, I don't even know if I want you on the surface or picking grains for real, because you're just a piece of shit. All right, but I might have you go up on the surface in a scorching hot sun. You feel me? Because you hate hard work in the sun, and you ain't gonna have no fucking hat on. We ain't gonna have you have no hat on to protect your head. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man. Let that sun beam all over you, man. And I can give you some lashes too on my horse. I'm sitting on my horse. I can give you some lashes. Whoosh. Get back to work, boy. Get back to work, boy. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's coming, man. All right. The scriptures say our heart shall meditate terror. Right? So we gonna do the same shit that, you know, not weirdo freakism shit that you did to us. But we gonna torture your ass. Best believe, bro. Okay? And best believe is gonna be more than slavery. A whole lot more than slavery going on. Okay? Because slavery is just servitude. Alright? Just, you know, doing the services that we don't want to do. But nah, it's gonna be rigorous. Best believe, bro. Okay? It's gonna be a torture Olympics. We're gonna do all type of shit, man. I'm gonna see you fight bears and shit. Yeah, because you have our woman choosing the bear, right? Over the man, right? You even had Eve all in that bugged out mindset. Oh, I'm choosing the bear over the man. Right? So we're gonna have to send bears on you. You're gonna fight the bear. Okay? Because you're putting that weird bullshit ideologies in our women and women in general. Fucking up the earth. Fucking up the ecosystem, right? So you got a lot of shit to pay for, man. Okay? Death by a million bees. Right? And bring you back to life, do it again. We'll do that, bro. You see what I'm saying? I don't even think I want to use bees. I'll just use wasps because they can do it multiple times and not die. We need the bees to live, right? So, yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is just what we're going to do, man. All right? Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. Zechariah 11:5. And they that sell them say, bless the Lord Yahweh, for I am rich. And their own shepherds pity them not. Right, that's right. Because at oppression, they speak loftily. They don't give a fuck about our situation. So we don't give a fuck about you. Oh, we're in this together. Now all of a sudden, the system's crashing. Right? The dollar, the inflation, dollar's going to shit. And you can't send little Timmy to college and pay cash for it. Pay $200,000 tuition for little Timmy and little Laura. Right? You can't pay it cash no more, and now you're feeling it, and now we're all in it together. Right? Fuck you, man. Alright, so pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And because you had a 400-year head start, my guy. Alright? We don't want to hear it. We're not pitying you, man. We don't pity you Edomites. Alright, so it says because this is Ecclesiasticus 10:8. I'm gonna end it off here. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. All right, and that's how you got your riches. Riches were gotten by deceit. All right, in unrighteous dealings, right? Injuries, murders, theft, briberies, all type of shit. Wickedness, witchcraft, right? Sorcery. All right, so translate it. Everything can be translated. So keep stacking up the gold. Keep stacking all the copper, whatever, the silver, right? Keep jacking up the prices on all these precious metals, right? Because all of it's going to be translated to Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, and the Israelites, man. Because everything is the Lord's anyways, man. All right? So just keep doing what you're doing. Stock up that gold so we can use it. We're going to have to probably melt it down again. We're going to have to melt it down and purify it some more, and then redo what we got to, reuse it the way we need to, because you probably tainted all that shit. All right, my gold is corrupt, right? Riches got by deceit, all that shit, right? So we're gonna have to burn it down and put it back to its use again, clean it up a little bit, right? But so it goes. That's how it goes. So I'm gonna close up on that. I'm gonna say shalom. Lord will you're edified. And to the next one.